What is going on? Honestly, today and yesterday, I've been having a breather. I'm just relaxing, enjoying the sun and enjoying some fresh air. It has been really intense, but I think I'm slightly starting to slow down and enjoy a little bit more being alive.
Okay, well, this sounds good to me. Which part of the world are you now?
Right now, I'm in Geneva, in Switzerland.
Okay.
But until last week, I was in Germany. Before that, I was in Vienna, Austria. Before that, I was in Italy and
So
Amsterdam.
yes,
It has been hectic.
this has been hectic. I understand. Yes, and so I also understand that you might want to slow down a little bit.
No, no, it's fine as long as I can breathe, right? And have time to be outside. Yeah.
I was reflecting on this challenge related to creativity, and
Hmm.
there is a clear correlation between the time element and creativity. So when time is tight, creativity performs.
Hmm.
There are research around it, but there also research that shows that when you are constantly under timing, you lose your performance.
Hmm.
It's a quite interesting curve that I was observing from this research, that you need the right balance of being busy and under pressure, and if it's too much pressure, then you lose the power of it.
That's right, because you do need some time to daydream and to kind of let go. And
Yeah.
then activity comes in again.
So you see this live in your experience?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If I'm tight on time, somehow uh, my body, my nervous system picks itself up, and I'm capable of being very creative. However, if I run too much on being tight on time and on high adrenaline, I just get exhausted, and
It doesn't
it's
work
like
anymore.
the mess becomes too big and nothing, I cannot think out of the box.
And speaking about this angle when in your work as a design thinking expert working with
Mhm,
creativity and teams, do
mhm.
you see this principle also in teams in general? I mean, one of the principles of design thinking is time is a tyrant, right?
Time is a
A tyrant.
tyrant. Okay,
Y-
okay. Tell me more.
You always need to. I mean, performance in design thinking falls around the specific time blocks. No, you don't create just for the sake of it, right? You always have convergence and delivery and stuff. So I was wondering if you see this principle also when you do your design thinking process.
Well, in this context, when we lead a design thinking workshop or a sprint, time is of the essence because, design thinking is a methodology that helps us de-risk possible solutions fast.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
de-risking applies three things: using less time, using less money, and doing it very fast. Right? So, in this sense, yes, time is essential for design thinkers, both for creativity, but also for de risking and testing if those creative ideas are going to be um, adopted by the market, because this is what we want.
Right. Yes. Yes. That's what I was saying when I meant tyrant, right? It's a helper.
Mhm,
You need the time to be more creative, but he's also tyrant because he decides.
mhm.
You don't decide, right? There is always a
That's right.
trade-off in the end.
Mhm,
I remember this experience I had when I went to Asso Plattner in Potsdam
mhm.
with it was a team was a work in the design thinking institute, and there was this ring. So there is a bell, like a physical bell, that every time there was like at the end of it, it was like badan dadan dadan. Feels like you were in Switzerland with a cow's bell, sort of something like that. And that was basically the end of the game, right? Every time it was sometimes it was even too short. You know you're working with people you don't know.
Mhm.
It's possible, right? And you start opening up and the bell rings.
Yeah, yeah. There are certain steps that we need to go through in order to be able to uh, deliver something. And those steps need to be time bound, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Ah. So, do you
Okay.
want me to share my slides
I
and you
think
will?
I think yes. I mean, I
Okay.
would, yeah. I mean, we can wait a couple of minutes still, but then eventually, yes,
Okay.
because I don't know if maybe there would be some audience on the YouTube streaming as well. But let's go for that.
Okay. But maybe
I'm also improvising at this stage. I don't know what to say. So yes,
that's good. So let me then quickly present myself. Hi,
of course.
everybody. My name is Biliana Vassileva. I'm innovation and design thinking specialist. I design and deliver learning experiences for managers from all over the world and for bachelor and master students in Europe. And in addition to that, I have core hobbies. I love skiing. I love trekking in the mountains. I love being outdoors, and I love singing. Um, and recently, I have been designing and delivering quite a lot of innovation management classes in which I teach different audiences around design thinking methodologies and actually how can we bring the best not only out of ourselves but the best product to the market. So that's me in brief, and Francesco and I have the privilege to be colleagues at the Geneva Business School, right, Francesco?
Yes, yes. Pleasure. I mean, as
Yes,
well.
privilege
Yes.
and pleasure. That's right. Yes. So, when you approached me, you kind of asked me to design something and to deliver something around innovation mindsets, right?
Yes.
Um, and when I looked at it and when I kind of looked a little bit deeper, I thought it will be interesting to contrast and compare how did we manage problem solving before and how do we manage problem solving today,
Hmm.
right? Because when it comes to innovation, it's all about problem solving. So, on that note, I'm going to share my slide
Please
deck.
tell me if you have permissions for that.
I'm
You know,
hoping.
the idea of the traditional versus new times or disruption
Yeah.
times, it comes with the fact that when we study the mindset, we
Mm-hmm.
are clearly fitting into the how do you compete. So with the challenges, how you compete in today times, what we are studying is that you need the acquisition of new principles and a new way of thinking. So
Mm-hmm.
we studied abundance, we studied exponential organizations, we studied exponential mindset. And
Mm-hmm.
within this framework, I believe in this concept of dynamic capabilities, right? It's about how you
Mm-hmm.
process and you grow this. And that's why design thinking to me fits perfectly. No, you need a new way of neuroplasticity. I would say from if you want to talk in a different
Mm-hmm.
angle.
Okay,
There you
so
go.
this is how we've defined our conversation for today. It's applied design thinking for management. And it's a modern manager's guide to building human-centered solutions. And as I just said, design thinking is all about creative problem solving. And we know that businesses thrive on solving problems. The question is, how are we solving these problems? Correct, Francesco?
There you go.
There we go. So let's move forward. It's you and me. Here we are.
That's quite
And
nice.
yes, so how do we solve problems at work? And it's a question for you, actually. How do you solve problems at work, Francesco?
In the spotlight, straight in the spotlight. I must say, I have changed my
Mhm,
way of doing it. I think now I rely much more on people around me than before.
mhm.
So. the question to
Tell
be
us more.
to, yes, it's really it's much more about I don't want to say scaling, but distributing thinking like distributing thinking power, right? So
Okay.
not I don't charge myself only about the problem. I find heads minds that I can distribute the same question with. I would say this
Lovely.
is I find myself doing this a lot lately. Yeah.
And how did you do it before?
Much before it was a lot about myself. I was very much about me, me, me. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
because I was probably less confident in sharing or working with others. I guess there were many different angles, but yes, it's definitely a change of mindset.
Okay, lovely. So let me ask you a couple more questions. And again, I designed this for learners and for the students, but now we are going to have this conversation.
I don't
So
mind. It's quite nice.
let's do this reality check. Do you think, on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being no, 5 being yes, and all in between being between no and yes, do you think managers think and employees do? Do you believe in this?
Do I believe that both
That
humans think?
managers are supposed to think and the employees are supposed to do what the
Okay,
managers
now I
have thought
see.
about.
Uh, I'm a bit biased. I don't think so.
Mhm.
But I could relate to the fact that people would say, yes, it is the case. So
Mm,
I'm biased because in my research, I find different evidences than this statement from
mhm.
practical collective data collection. But I do understand that in majority of cases, people would say, yes, it's true. So the employees are the doers of the organization and they are told what to do by people above them that typically you say managers, they might be actually middle managers, right? Because then you have executives, which is I don't know, that would be maybe a different scale, but that I think I could relate with the framework, yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Let's do another reality check. Do you feel separated sometimes from the greater meaning of work?
Mm, I personally rarely do feel separate,
Hmm.
uh, but because I'm in a privileged position.
Hmm.
And so I give myself meaning, let's say.
Hmm.
However, yes, in my experience as a consultant, for instance, or as when I was running an agency, so as still as in the service industry for other companies, I have encountered multiple cases of um, evidence of separation. So the person that I was working for or it being my client, they were demonstrating great separation from their work.
Hmm.
Great, like a sort of my work life is not my life. It's a life that I need to do until 6 o'clock. It was very much so. I will
Yeah.
try not to give any personal comment on this, but it was very evident.
Yeah. And in the work I do with young professionals who have just entered the workforce, I very often discover that they're just a small bolt in the whole um, mechanism of work. They feel they are not contributing and they feel there's no meaning to the work they do. Thank you so much. Let's move forward. The next question is, do you think your students or employees, your colleagues sometimes feel they could be replaced easily and quickly?
Speaking with honesty, I could say that I hope that I could not be quickly replaced. But truth-wise, the data shows that disruption it's forgetting very quickly about things for the next new thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this is how markets are shaped right now. In
Yeah.
general, I would say it's very difficult to stay within this great speed of change overall. Stay in all senses. I mean, stay relevant, stay top of mind, stay physically there. I mean, the, the turnover in general has increased meaningfully.
Absolutely. And my observations are very much the same. Uh, and I have two more questions. The
I'm very
second to
happy
this
about
one
this.
is,
You're
do
helping me
you
to think.
feel that only the fittest survive at your workplace? Or do you observe that it's usually the fittest that survive? The
Yes,
others somehow
yes.
don't.
I do have evidence that only the fittest survive.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And the last question, do you believe we do need to be paid more for the work we do?
As a general principle, I never found anybody who said that he's paid the right amount. So, on average, on a longitudinal scale, of course, you can have
Mhm.
moments, episodes, but in general, on a longitudinal scale, everyone is would say that he could do more, he could get more, he should deserve more because of something.
Mhm.
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. So we
Okay.
say a big five in this case.
Yes. Okay. So great. Thank you so much for answering so honestly those questions. And I want to welcome you to scientific management. These are the five outcomes that Frederick Taylor in 1911 told us about when he designed scientific management, right? So those five questions
Love it.
were based on the five outcomes of scientific management. So even though we work and live in 2025, almost 2026, we are still experiencing the leftovers of the scientific management, which was designed at the beginning of the 20th century.
More than 100 years ago.
Yes, more than 100 years ago. So we have to understand that traditional management was a management which was inside out management, right? And when I say inside out management, here is what I mean. It was management in which we ask ourselves, what can we build efficiently? So when we had a problem to solve, we ask ourselves, what are we capable of doing? Right? The people in my business, in my organization, how much resources do we have? Right? And how quickly can we do something with the money and the resources that we had. So the key question behind the scientific management is what can we build with the resources, with the time, quickly to solve the problem that we are facing. And moving forward, it is also called the traditional resource-based management, which is capability focused. It's what is something very specific about the scientific management or the traditional resource-based management is that there's a best way of doing things. There's one best way, right? It's economically efficient and it's process optimized. Those are very specific things, and you can today hear people talking about what are best practices? What are we capable of doing? What is this effective? Is it efficient? Are we optimizing? But are there different ways of doing and managing the problems we have? Is my question. And Yes, there are different ways of managing the problems we have and designing solutions. And this new way is called the outside in way. We don't look inside organizations to ask how much do we have, how quickly can we build something, what can we do? Instead of looking inside of the organization or the business, we look outside. And when we look outside, we ask this question: what do people actually need? And when I mean people, I don't mean just everybody. I mean our clients, the people we are serving, the people we are delivering our products, our services to. And that's, you can imagine, it's a very different way of doing uh, than asking yourself, what can I do with what I have in a little time? This is forgetting about us and falling in love with our people, with our customers, with our users. And this new way of doing is human centered or customer centered or user centered. We are looking for the pain points they're experiencing, and we are looking for the needs they have. So instead of designing solutions that we can do quickly with the little amount of resources we have and the capabilities we have, we are actually opening up the aperture and we are asking ourselves, what is it that people really need? And this new way of thinking is the design thinking process, the process that we are going to talk a little bit more about today. I am sure you have seen this process. Is there anything that intrigues you that you would like to focus the attention of either our listeners, or any of your students later on?
Maybe, Biliana, I have a question regarding the
Mhm,
methodology and in general what you are discussing, which I find very brilliant as an angle.
mhm,
Um, we are now in a new, let's say, paradigm as we enter into this generative AI context where
mhm,
information are getting commoditized, and so there is clearly another angle that should be uh, put in practice, let's say,
mhm.
for
Okay.
the development. Uh, is this approach still valid? Do we still need to look out for users, or can the machine provide these angles already? And so then our um, outside in approach, I don't want to say it's getting less efficient, but in general, maybe redundant, because now you have a machine that could give you all these angles on its own. Maybe it's more like a pending question that I have. I don't expect necessarily like a full solution over it, but I think it's
I'm happy to answer it. Again, to the best of my abilities, right? And to the way I think. And I think it's a great and very fair and honest question to ask. But to answer it, we need to take a small detour. And we need to think, what are we humans good at? And what is generative AI good at? Right.
Mm.
And to answer this question, I'm going to invite Kita. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Um, would you kind of, if you wish to be put on the spot, would you like to kind of give us your thoughts on what is AI good for versus what is a human being good at?
If I'm being asked, first of all, sorry for being late. I had some issues
Don't worry, Nikita.
that internet issues I had. And if I'm being asked, like I would say that AI is good, but it cannot be compared to humans still,
Mm-hmm.
as it is still in the training phase of itself. So for me, I'll say that humans are better than AI.
Okay, okay. And what about you, Francesco? What do you think AI excels at, and what do you think human beings excel at?
Can I detour also from your question and get you a
Mhm.
different angle?
Go ahead.
I'm speaking now with a company
Hmm.
that has marketed recently a framework that leverages AI for prototyping and testing.
Hmm.
So they start by studying all the main innovation framework that has been published in the last 20 years, let's say 15 years,
Hmm.
on Christensen, jobs to be done, and this and that. Okay.
Hmm.
And then they say that with AI, you can train your persona and you have persona that are now synthetic.
Hmm.
And by statistical, because they are generative, and by statistical proxy, you can have data collection that are synthetic and still they claim validate.
Hmm.
So I don't know if on one end I am very curious, extremely
Hmm.
curious.
Hmm.
On the other end, I must also play the critical thinking part. Like I warn myself for this. So I really didn't get. I am very curious to deepen this more uh,
Okay.
because to me it's ultimately it's a key point not only from the innovation angle but also from a marketing standpoint. The risk is that we're preaching to the choir,
Hmm.
or the other way around. The opportunity is that we have statistical evidence of every real need and we can solve needs much faster, much easier. If
Hmm.
AI finds the right question, gets the right evidence, design the right problem, and and basically you are an observer of this process and more, not more than that. I mean, the time to solutions is much faster.
Um, you're right. And here is the small tweak which I think is very important. I think AI is excellent in summarizing huge amounts of data. And as you know, when we do our research phase in the design thinking process, which is called empathizing, we need to do at least two types of research. We need to do qualitative research and we need to do quantitative research. So if we have done this research and we need to analyze it, we can feed it to AI, and very quickly, in less than a minute, you can see themes emerging, you can see patterns emerging, you can see everything that is emerging. So the process of synthesizing qualitative and quantitative data is done very, very quickly. However, it gives us multiple options sometimes, and that's under the condition that it has not been hallucinating. Because very often AI hallucinates. And I'll give you an example. I was designing a Kahoot for my students. It was on change management. I was asking for 11 questions, all on change management models. All of the answers were wrong. They sounded brilliant, but all of them were wrong. So, just to go back, the important thing is to collaborate with AI. And the important thing is to really critically think, even though it looks brilliant, even though it looks structured, even though I'm so impressed, is this sound? Is this real? Is this true for the people I'm researching? So I think we, as both innovators, design thinkers, have the responsibility to collaborate with AI and to consistently keep AI in check. What are you telling me, really? And if you're giving me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 options, hey, who is going to choose? Am I going to let AI choose between those 5 options, or am I going to take the responsibility to choose? Right? When it comes to prototyping and to testing, it's really easy. It's really easy. AI can produce prototypes very easily, very quickly. It can also kind of test them. The question is, am I using my professional knowledge to verify, to go out and test, do a couple of tests myself, or even more than a couple of tests myself, to verify, to have the real hunch and the real confidence AI is correct? Because if we are superficially impressed by the neatiness of what AI delivers, we are being taken for a ride. Because
Yes.
this process is very messy. It's like diving deep into the dark, not knowing where you're going and still going. And when it's done with AI, we have the feeling it's clean, it's neat, it's linear, it's simple. All we need to do is start selling. But no, we need to make decisions at every stage of the process. Decisions. For example, I was teaching in Germany last Friday, and we did an AI sprint with all my students on a simple problem: plastic bags. How can we help people use plastic bags? Do you know how many decisions those students had to make in the process of reading the synthesis from the empathizing phase? Reading what are the questions that AI gave them to define the human-centered problem? How many ideas AI gave them, and which one did they choose? What prototypes AI gave them, and which one they would go forward to test? And the end of the day, when we looked, it turned out that a lot of the decisions they made, even though everything was done with AI, were wrong. Right? So it's a collaboration, very critically intense process when we work with AI to design solutions.
Thank you. Wow, this is very interesting. Wow, wow, very good intro, very good first-hand story. So, for instance, what was like when you say they were wrong? What is wrong? Like not feasible, not desirable? What was the not
Okay, I
viable? I
will.
mean,
Okay, so they had, I think the quantitative data that I gave them had around 130 respondents. And the synthesis from the data showed that the biggest problem users have with plastic bags is that they don't want to reuse them because they're dirty, right? It's not, I don't have it on me and I'm in the shop. It's, I don't want to reuse it, it's dirty, right? And they
yeah, so it's an
totally,
interpretation that is not. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, so they totally ignored. So I had around 21 students. Only 3 students solved for this challenge. All the rest, which was like 18, yes, solved for inconvenient. I don't have a plastic bag on me right now when I'm in the shop.
Would you say that this is a lack of critical thinking, or would you identify other reasons for that?
I don't think it's a lack of critical thinking. I think the time has come that we are even more responsible around making choices. And it's not an easy thing to do, right? We need to step into our bigger responsibility here and really look deeply at what AI delivers to us and make very knowledgeable and smart choices, even more than before. Because now it's no longer obvious what is what is the way we can move forward. Everything looks potentially beautiful, and it's not.
Wow. So it's even more difficult then because we have more design thinking. Sorry, we have more critical thinking. We have more sensitivity, as you said. But then ultimately, the wrong answer is there.
Yes, absolutely. Or we choose not to consider the options, and we kind of fall in love with the first one we kind of liked.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think it's a real challenge now to actively, intentionally, responsibly start making decisions at every stage. And it's a collaboration between me and the tool, no matter which AI tool I'm using. But it's me who is making the decisions. And I have to be 100% aware and responsible and, uh, and critical when I'm making those decisions.
And what's the role of design thinking here? Do you think that the methodology level up the ability to decision making?
No, the decision making is on humans.
No, I
Of
mean, but
course,
does it increase the ability of our decision making? Being an experienced thinker, designer, sorry.
100%. If you know very well the methodology, if you know very well what you're looking, if you're willing to trust your professional intuition, you are having a different conversation with AI. It's about the quality of the conversation. And the quality of the conversation really is defined by our human knowledge, by our individual professionalism.
Lovely.
So it's a very interesting conversation between the machine and us. And it's even more interesting when we do it together, 20 people in one room, and we discover that our conversations have totally misled us because the moment we did not take a decision, we did not check that, we ignored that.
Mm-mm-mm.
Ankita, would you have any questions around the design thinking process? Is it new to you?
No, I won't have any questions.
Okay. Okay, so shall we move forward?
Yes, please.
Okay, good. Uh, Moving forward. So, again, decision making. So, I've made this a manager's toolkit using design thinking to make better decisions, right? Especially if we talk about a collaboration between humans and large language models. So, what is this manager's toolkit? First and foremost, we have to start with the four lenses of design thinking. And the four lenses of design thinking really show us where does great innovation reside. And great innovation resides in the yellow spot, right? This is at the intersection of what is viable, what is feasible, what is responsible, and what is desirable. I wonder if you know what viable, feasible, responsible, and desirable means in the context of human-centered innovation.
I guess yes.
Uh, Ankita, do you know? Would you like me to explain?
Yeah, I would love if you can explain more.
Okay, great. Okay, so the first question we have to ask ourselves is it desirable? Which means, do our users, does our target audience desire it, right? Do they want to have it? Do they have a real need for it? Imagine we have designed a new water bottle. There we go, a new water bottle. And we think it's really amazing. It's like, ooh, I love the water bottle. It's so good. It's so comfy. I can hold it. But we don't know if people want this particular water bottle. So we have to know, is it desirable? Do people desire it? Then we have to know, is it viable? Which means if I produce this water bottle and if I put it on the market, will people be paying for it so that I can live out of making and selling water bottles? Right? Will it make me will it make my small business profitable, right? So that I can keep on living. Is it feasible? Means can I make it? Right? Without paying big money to Chinese companies to produce the plastic bag, a plastic bottle. Can I make it? Do I have the capabilities of producing such a water bottle so that, of course, the intellectual property resides with me and the production resides with me? And the last big question that we need to ask ourselves is it responsible? Is this water bottle responsible? Now, from your point of view, I'm sorry you can't see it well, and I'm trying to, there we go. From your point of view, do you think this is a responsible water bottle?
I said I would disagree by calling it responsible. Yeah.
And why are you disagreeing, Francesco?
But first, I didn't see it very well, but it looks like a very single-use bottle,
Mm-hmm.
so I would go for that. So
Okay.
if it's a
It,
single use, it cannot be very responsible for today's standard.
that's right. That's right. Because we are not being responsible towards the planet and
Yeah.
towards the generation to come. That's right. So, those are criteria for how do we actually know that we have designed great innovations and great solutions, but actually they're also criteria for decision making, right? Something is a great product if it is really wanted by my people, if I can live from it, if I can make it, and if it's responsible towards the people and the planet. So because it's a decision-making platform framework, I want to kind of spotlight this fourth pillar, which is responsibility. So for people, it needs to ensure fairness, accessibility, and ethical practices, right? I can't just drink from it and toss it on a beach in Bali, right? Where people will have to live with the pollution. Um, I also, and this particular example here is mitigating harm from bias and data misuse, is specifically about digital services that we design and we also put on the market. The second thing is it good for the planet? And here when we design innovative solutions, we always try and opt for designing them in a circular economy manner. And we also design them based on how nature does things. This is a particular part of innovation, which is called biomimicry, in which we mimic the way nature solves problems. And again, this is a very important pillar because it has a competitive advantage to it, and it reduces long-term risk. So, moving forward, let's have a look at a couple of scenarios to see if you'll be able to spot the gap. Oh la la la, don't go there. Here, I just wanted to move. Okay, so the first scenario is the ghost tool. A new internal tool is powerful and saves money, but no one uses it because it's too confusing. Which design thinking principles do you think are missing here? or design thinking lenses from
Well,
the
it's desirability, clearly.
desirability is missing. And which one? And also which one?
Well, in this case, also sustainability, because we are
That's
missing
right.
responsibility. Actually, it's responsibility, yes.
Yes. It's used interchangeably. Responsibility and sustainability, it's used interchangeably. That's right. Let's look at another scenario. The charity feature. A new feature is loved by users and is eco-friendly, but it costs the company $10 for each $1 it makes. What are the missing criteria for a great product or for a great feature?
Ankita, this is your call.
Viability. Viability.
That's right. We are losing money with it, correct? And what else?
Um, I'll say viability and it's responsible and desirable.
It's the technical part that is missing too.
Here, have a look again.
Feasibility. Yeah,
That's
feasibility.
right. So most likely, it's not feasible because a tech company is charging us to make it for us. And actually, we have to pay a big amount of money to them because we cannot make it ourselves, right? So this is not yet a great solution. And now let's look at the last one, the biased AI. A new AI feature is desirable, feasible, and viable, but it is found to have a severe bias against a specific user group.
It is not responsible.
That's right. Yes. When we design new solutions, we need to make them responsible. Yes, in addition to all the other. So see how very quickly, when we know those four lenses of design thinking, we can make very quick decisions on, is this a great product?
I did not hear this responsible leverage in as a principle as well, but it's actually very, very, very sensible. It's very interesting.
Yeah, because responsibility comes in two forms. Harm no one when it comes to people and do good for the planet.
Yeah.
And we always need to keep both in mind. Are we harming anybody? And if we're harming, how can we change this? And are we doing good for the planet and for the generations to come?
Yes, very good.
Okay, so let's see, what do we have? What we have is actually design thinking as a new way of managing how we solve problems creatively at work. It's not just a process. It is a new way of thinking and a new way of doing things. And the way we think, we usually called mindsets, right? Beliefs. And this is why I love so much design thinking, because actually it helps me become a little bit more aware, a little bit more reflective, and a little bit more enlightened human being. Because it consistently reminds me to ask myself the question, how are you thinking right now? And if you are thinking right now in a particular way, is this the right way to think? Would you like to be the person who thinks this way? So let me take you a little bit forward so that you understand specifically what I mean. So, design thinking is not only a process, it's a mindset. So, We need to adhere to four huge ways of how we think differently. So, the first shift in our own way of thinking is I'm not the manager that knows. I'm the manager that needs to ask more questions, right? Does this ring a bell with you, Ankita?
Yeah, if we are talking about curiosity, yeah, if we are doing something new, there is always a curiosity, like how it has to be done, what is to be done. Questions like this arise.
Yeah, but we're talking here specifically about being a manager, right? It's all about management. So imagine you are a highly educated, highly paid manager, and you've been just appointed to a position of a CEO. Would you feel comfortable saying, actually, I don't know, and let me ask the people?
No, even if I'm not very clear about what is to be done, I'll be curious, but I cannot show that in front of others. I have to seem confident.
And you're not the only one. I ask this question to a lot of students, and all of them tell me that if they're highly paid, if they're highly educated, if they have been just hired to deliver work at the level of the CEO of C suite, they need to portray that they know. They need to show up knowledgeable. They need to show up confident. Well, this is not how we inspire people, though. This is not how we bring collaboration. This is how we create hierarchical structures in which people don't feel safe to contribute. And because design thinking is a creative problem solving methodology that thrives on diversity, on different, on multiculturalism, on different ages, we need to be able to be the manager who is asking instead of telling, right? So curiosity is kind of, it sounds easy, it sounds, yeah, I'll be curious. But when you are in that spotlight, you need to be able to let go of what you know, and you need to be able to ask a great question. Okay. Francesco, do you have anything to add on this? My
Uh, no, I like this element because the more disruption follows through his path, the more um, the old traditional principles are missing out. So when it comes to education, for instance, the topic of curiosity, it's becoming a key point. And
Mhm.
it's not only about, I mean, curiosity is, of course, is a very big thinking, but the idea of asking the right question and growing the ability to let's say, to feel confident in never stop asking questions. That is something I would say, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think it's about asking the right question, but sometimes the right question is not even one. There are more questions that are right, and this constant uncertainty that is evolving and growing forward on multiple elements is it's a shift. You talk about mindset shift. I mean,
100%. And don't forget,
I go through what you say.
yeah, and it's not only that uncertainty increases, but also we are in consistently working with more and more stakeholders, right? We have
Yeah.
more and more partners. And the more
Yes.
people are involved, the more uncertainty spikes. So,
Yes.
and this curiosity mindset also goes hand in hand with with our capability of being humbled, right?
It is
When we
exactly, yes, it is exactly part of this evolution. There is complexity, matching, challenges, and your challenges are now also the challenges of somebody else. Someone else's challenges are also your challenges. Maybe not today, but you need to anticipate that they will be so tomorrow. So that's the complexity. I speak about complexity, but we're talking
Mm.
about the same game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is all in the context of complexity, right? So, so the mind shift I'm going to repeat again is from I know to let me ask you, right? That's how we need to behave because the way we think determines the way we behave. What is the second mindset shift that we need to kind of understand and start practicing? The second one is from avoiding failure to learning fast from failing, right? And in design thinking terminology, this is called experimentation.
Mm.
We need to understand that failure means I've tried it and it doesn't work, right? It doesn't mean I'm stupid. It doesn't mean I'm an idiot. It doesn't mean why did anybody tell me? Why nobody told me? It means it didn't work. Let's find out what might work, right? So when we adopt this mindset from learning to fail, and it's what is really important is to learn to fail fast. Because the faster you fail, the faster you'll discover what works. This is how success comes along,
Mm.
right? Success doesn't come because we've nailed it the first time around. And again, in order for people to admit that things are not working, the prototype is not working, this feature is not the right one, this is creating more problems than it's solving, we need to create something which is called psychological safety. And psychological safety is a particular way of managing teams in which everybody feels it's okay not to know. It's okay to show everybody that this doesn't work. And it's okay. We are here and going to figure it out together. So, psychological safety is really a skill that needs to be learned by managers so that they are capable of making everybody on their teams capable of saying, no, 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 this doesn't work. Let's try something else. Okay, thank you. The third shift that we are looking at when we talk about the new way of managing problem solving in organizations and in businesses is from silos to systems, right? And the difference between a silo and a system is that a system is defined by the interconnectedness between the different parts. So if we look at a car as a system, the wheel on its own will not take you from Geneva to Zurich, nor the driving wheel will take you from Geneva to Zurich. Only if the car, all the elements in the car are interconnected and work together, you'll be
Yes.
able to go from to Geneva to Zurich. Whereas currently, our organizations are still very siloed. The management department will be doing the management, and the engineering department will be doing the engineering, right? Whereas the sales will be doing the sales. Bless you, Francesco.
Sorry.
So the point is, how do we look at the whole experience that we are designing for and delivering to our clients and to our customers so that it works for them? And we together deliver on it. Um, and it's all about collaboration. It sounds simple, it's really difficult to really put in place, create the right conditions for collaboration to thrive. Francesco, would you like to
Yes.
add anything?
Yes. I was thinking about the topic of purpose, which is necessary for providing collaboration. And we
Mm-hmm.
talk about companies with purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we talk about corporate purpose or massive transformative purpose in exponential organizations, because the more you want collaboration in the game, the stronger should be the affiliation that you are able to create. So then people can be part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And you cannot, well, relying solely on economic transactions for achieving collaboration, you're missing one point. Somebody else might be able to pay better than you, or there could be other things, right? So that instead, if the purpose is playing a different game, a different note, it's a different music, then it becomes a link, and this link is stronger than a transactional value. Of course, then other elements comes into place, but that's for sure is very important in the way I see it.
Mm. Thank you so much. And Tito, would you like to add anything? No? Okay, so the fourth mindset that I invite you to consider is from certainty to clarity, and it's all about embracing ambiguity. Because more and more the challenges that we are solving for, they are complex challenges. We're dealing with complexity, and complexity brings about a lot of ambiguity. So, as managers, we are not looking for certainty. We are looking to bring a little bit of clarity in the middle of ambiguous matters. And this is because innovation is working on the fuzzy edge, right? So we need to embrace feeling
Yes.
uncomfortable when things are ambiguous. And we need to learn to live and help others work with it.
What is clarity for you? Is the acknowledgement of the complexity that is clarity, or what is clarity?
That's a
Uh,
good question, Francesco. For me, clarity is two things. Clarity is what is my end goal? Even though I don't know how to get there, what is my vision of the future that I'm bringing about? Right?
Mm.
This is a little bit, for me, clarity. And in the long term. But also in the short term, for me, clarity is what is my immediate next step? I may not be able to know my 3 steps ahead, but at least I need to work with what I have so that I can understand what is my best next step forward, right?
Mm.
What is my next opportunity? And I personally believe that I have a clearly defined long-term goal or vision that I want to bring about. And in the process, I'm consistently looking to find my next step. I will get there sooner or later. It's a question of trial or error.
Hmm. I like it.
Yeah, this is how we think when we practice design thinking mindsets. Yeah, step by step at a time, yet keep the vision consistently in your mind.
Very nice.
Okay, so moving forward, I want to invite both of you to do a little bit of personal reflections. Now, looking at those major shifts when it comes to managerial practices, which one do you think will be the most challenging for you to adopt and why?
The most challenging would be the collaboration part.
And why?
Because yeah, because it is very difficult when like when we are working in a team and to collaborate with each and everyone and to make them work together, it's really a challenging part.
Mm,
Uh, for sure, I could resonate with Ankita, but I
mhm,
also think that the experimentation part is quite tricky because we tend to think that experimentation is doing something. You're doing something, and wow, okay, oh, but this is not. Uh, Failing involves that you have tried hard something and you didn't succeed. Not that you just tried something. So the risk here is that you don't do things properly, you don't train for experimentation, so you don't really experiment. And so what you get as a result is because you're not skilled enough. So it's there is a bit of ambiguity. I always think about the case for booking.com, for instance, that they have a very strong culture of experimentation.
mhm,
They have libraries of data, and you look into if you are hired at booking.com, you are encouraged to try and make and fail, but you leverage on existing data for your own experiments. So they teach you how to do experiments, they teach
mhm.
you statistical evidence, they teach regression. When you have these foundations, then you use real data, and so the quality of your failing, it's real failing. I don't know if I'm able to express myself. So I think this part sometimes it might fool uh, the understanding of design thinking for something easy when in the other in the true story it's something complex that requires methodology, rigor, and preparation, because there is it's proper science.
Absolutely, it's research. Yes. Yeah. And it's a very good point that you're making, because when design thinking is being taught, not thought. Let me just bring you back to this slide.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of emphasis and put on how do we empathize with our clients, or on with our customers. Also, a lot of effort is being put on how do we define the need that we need to design a solution around. And very little effort is being put on how do we test, right? And actually, testing is a real scientific skill that one can learn and one can really do very, very well. For example, there are so-called test cards in design thinking. In a test card, there are a couple of things that you need to kind of put in there before you've tested. Like, for
Mm.
example, what are you testing? Then you have to write your own belief. I believe that this, for example, I'm testing the font of this presentation to see if it appeals to my audience. So I will put, I'm testing the font. I believe that this font is beautiful because dot dot dot. And then I have to define success. Success will mean that people that I show this font to
Yes.
like it, but I also need to measure success. So knowing, I will know that I have that this font is really desirable, people really like it, when 75% of the people that I spoke to strongly agreed with the statement that this font is amazing, right? And we do those test cards for every single thing we test. And when we test one thing at a time. And for every single thing, you have to have a test card, so that no matter whether you do your test or you ask somebody else to do it for you, it's very clear between what are the expectations, the imaginary expectations, and what is happening in reality. And then when you contrast, you compare, you get actually a yes or a no. This works or this doesn't work. And another thing about testing is that when we test, we usually ask yes or no questions, like, do you like it? Um, is this the right font? Because we are converging. We are trying to make a decision on whether this particular thing is the right thing. Whereas here, when we are empathizing with our users in the very beginning, we are asking open questions like, what is your experience? How do you feel? How did you feel the last time you saw this font, right? Uh, and those are, I mean, really, those are professional details that we need to train our people um, or design thinkers so that they know what kind of question to ask when in order to achieve what kind of outcomes. And the same applies to AI. If you want to collaborate with AI in order to implement the design thinking process, you really need to know what are the underlying principles, what are the criteria for success in AI and in design thinking, and you need to really consistently keep AI on the leash. Are you giving me what I'm asking you? And then taking it and testing it with real people to discover, are you hallucinating or somehow did you manage to get it right? Any questions?
Wow, thank you for that. No, no, no. But it's clear. It's very quite interesting what you're presenting. Yes.
So please, may I invite you to let go a little bit of knowing and start asking more questions. Then to stop avoiding failure and to learn to fail fast so that you can discover faster what works. Then to start breaking silos and start seeing the systems, which means the interdependencies between the different departments, the different collaborators. And last but not least, don't try to be certain. Try to be clear. What is the vision and what is my immediate next step? And all the rest may still be muddled and in the dark, but if you have those two things, you will get there. So, and moving forward, this is how to start to be a design thinking manager, a manager who is capable of solving problems creatively in a human-centered way tomorrow. So, if you don't know, design thinking is a mixture of anthropology, sociology, and business. And anthropologists are those scientists who discover how do people live? What do they believe in? What do they do? And why they do it? So to start being those new type of managers, I would invite you to spend 30 minutes observing a customer or an employee who is using a product. And don't talk to them, just watch them, see what they do, and try to kind of, by observing, to step into their shoes and imagine how they're feeling. You'll be surprised how much you will learn. Then, prototype before you plan. In standard management, we are consistently planning. And when we talk about prototyping, we are sketching an idea and because prototypes are cheap, fast, and scrappy, we are trying to discover what does not work. A prototype is not a great version of the product, it's a sacrificial sketch of the product to discover what is not going to work. And then my last invitation to you is try to break silos and create systems in which you design together the experience for your customers. And on that note, I am going to ask you, do you have any questions or anything you want to share?
I would like to ask you maybe a last question regarding the silo breaker.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so is it something that you see happening internally? So is it's that's the goal is to open up your knowledge about it's about the curiosity, or do you see other angles that are impacting with this methodology?
Well, I personally think that when it comes to creating new products and new solutions, we need to have everybody's minds, hands, and hearts involved. Because people who create solutions have the motivations have the motivation to work hard on them to bring them to the market, right? Uh, and this is why, not to mention the even more important fact that we need the different for creativity to kick in. We need people who have different upbringing, different come from different culture, have different ways of thinking, speak different languages, make different types of associations.
Mm.
So the need to break the silos is, I didn't hear.
Sorry, Biliana, say again.
So the need to break silos is first and foremost to increase the creative capacity of your team, your organization, and your business, and to design solutions together so that all of you are motivated to deliver on the implementation phase. You are muted, Francesco.
I don't know. Okay. Okay. No, so I think I get your point. And the idea of the diversity of the designers is what
Mm-hmm,
leads to a successful solution. I get the point.
mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you
So
very much. Yes. It's always very interesting to spend time with you speaking about this, first because of your expertise, but I also like the fact that there are always new pieces adding to the puzzle, right? Design thinking has been there for a while as a methodology, but I love the fact that IDEO, you guys are bringing always new angles to the game.
mm, yes, yes. And again, the more you dive into the topic, the deeper it gets.
Yes, that is for sure. That is for sure.
Yeah.
That's why I think this is something to cultivate further along. We will have the time to discuss this, of course,
Hmm.
next time we see each other, maybe in real life, not through screens.
Absolutely, with pleasure.
Liana, thank you very much for being with us. Your presence is really, really appreciated. Um, I will let you know after the distribution for this session.
Hmm.
And if students are interested in getting in touch, what could
Yes.
be your perfect,
Oh,
exactly.
oh, okay. So I wanted to write my email address. Seemingly I forgot. I'm sorry. But they can always reach out on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to connect and to continue the conversation.
Okay. Okay, that is very good. I need to ask you the final question, which is now my signature questions.
Okay.
I decided to pull out for every guest and every
Hmm.
friend that I invite and that is participating in my content. Please leave us with at least one, if not two, book titles
Ah,
that we should follow up.
okay. Yeah, great.
Anything that you find relevant to us.
Okay, there we go. Okay. Recently, I'm teaching a class on AI and creativity. And recently, with my students, we looked into designing solutions around based on a book, right? So, and they chose the book they love most. And this meant that all of us, we had to reread the book and then try to design solutions for unhappy people on Amazon, because the book is sold at Amazon, and we wanted to tap into the data that is available on Amazon. So we reread The Little Prince. That was their favorite book. And I was blown away how design thinking and the thinking of Exupéry when he wrote this book are alike. I was 100% blown away. I would have never thought that this is possible.
You know, a typical book that you read in your 12, 13 in Italy.
Mhm.
And
That's
it's
right.
interesting that you're pulling it out
It,
as an
it,
example.
it's the favorite book of the students, and they're all bachelor students. They had
Right.
to vote on their favorite book.
Okay,
So,
so thank you for this recommendation. I mean, this
yeah, you're
it's a
very
different angle.
welcome.
Yeah, of course. Any book. I mean, I've decided that this is it's everything should be welcome because I mean those are everyone has preferences. So and you get it's creativity. So you learn from
Mhm,
every angle.
mhm.
Thank you so much, Biliana. It's been a great pleasure. I thank you so much for being with us. A super interesting session. I guess we see each other soon.
With pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Bye bye. Good night, everybody. Bye bye bye.
Bye. Bye bye.
Thank,
Bye,
thank you.
Ankita.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you,
Bye
Biliana.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Do you have any questions?
No, 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 Biliana.
Okay. Bye.
The session was really informative and I just loved it.
Oh, thank you so much. That's very kind. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.